I recently worked with a leader who struggled to admit to her team that she was struggling with motivation. When she finally opened up, something amazing happened. They rallied around her, and soon enough, they were able to come up with a creative solution that would have been impossible to figure out on their own. Have you ever felt like giving up as a leader? Like no matter what you do, you just can't get your team motivated anymore. According to a recent study by the American Psychological Association, you're not alone. 79% of leaders are experiencing burnout right now. Now, let me paint a picture for you that's becoming all too common in today's workplace. Leaders across all industries are quietly struggling, trying to keep their teams motivated while battling their own burnout and demotivation. I'm seeing it everywhere, from federal agencies to Fortune 500 companies. The political climate and market pressures and constant change are taking their toll on everyone. But here's what's interesting, and what most leadership books won't tell you. The solution isn't about pushing harder or pretending everything's fine. In fact, that approach might be making things worse. In this video, I'm going to share 4 proven strategies that have helped countless leaders like yourself not only remotivate their teams, but find their own spark again. These aren't just theoretical concepts. These are evidence-based approaches I've used with leaders like yourself who are ready to throw in the towel, but manage to turn things completely around. But before we dive in, I want you to know something important. If you're feeling this way, it does not mean that you are a bad leader. In fact, acknowledging these feelings might be the first step to becoming a better leader. Now, here's strategy number 1. Control the controllable. You know what's fascinating about control? Just because the political climate is changing and the markets are unstable doesn't mean that we are. Our core values, our beliefs don't waver during times of uncertainty. Let me share something that happened with one of my federal clients last month. My client was leading a team of 20 people and she was ready to quit. The agency was going through its second round of reductions in workforce within a month, and she felt powerless. She asked me, what is the point of staying at my job? Everything I do just gets reversed or destroyed. But here's what we discovered working together. While she couldn't control the risks, what she could control was how she showed up with her team every day, how her team engaged with each other, and the quality of work that her team continued to produce. This is what we have to lean into. It's what we can control, what we can influence. Think about it. Your purpose, your values, your daily interactions with your team don't change because of external factors. They are your constant in the midst of chaos. Strategy number 2 is reconnect with your purpose. Now, this is where it gets personal, and I need you to be very honest with yourself. I want you to ask yourself, why did you take the position that you are in? What is it about this job that lights you up? Another one of my clients was struggling with motivation until we did this exercise together. He started listing out what his position provided. And it wasn't about the salary, although that is important, but it was about putting his kids through college, supporting his elderly parents, and even funding his side hustle, which he hoped to be his full-time job in the near future. But here's the key. Your purpose has to light you up. It has to be your why. So maybe it looks like creating opportunities for your team, or building something meaningful within your community, making a difference within your industry, or providing for your family. The point is, when you reconnect with your why, it becomes easier to push through the tough days. According to a recent Gallup survey, 34% of leaders who have a strong sense of purpose stay more engaged during challenging times. Tip number 3 is embrace authentic leadership. Now, this is where most leadership advice gets it wrong. They tell you to be strong, never show your weaknesses. But let me tell you, what you are actually doing is hurting yourself and your team. You see, when you pretend that everything is fine when it's not, you create a psychologically unsafe environment where your team feels they need to pretend too. But what if I told you that showing your authentic, vulnerable self could strengthen your leadership? Here's what authentic leadership looks like in practice. Acknowledging what is challenging to you, sharing your struggles, inviting team input, and creating a psychologically safe space for open dialogue. I recently worked with a leader who struggled to admit to her team that she was struggling with motivation. But when she finally opened up, something amazing happened. Her team didn't lose respect for her. Instead, they rallied around her and they started sharing their challenges together. Soon enough, they were able to come up with a creative solution that would have been impossible to figure out on their own. And the last tip is build your support system. Now, if you are finding this information valuable, go ahead and click the link in the description. I've created a resilience leadership toolkit that is complimentary for you. Now, the final strategy might be the most important one, and that is community. Don't go it alone. You need to tap into a community of other leaders because you're not meant to do this alone, quite frankly. None of us have all of the solutions. Studies show that leaders who participate in peer support groups are significantly more resilient and show higher levels of job satisfaction. Why? Because there is power in knowing that you are not the only one facing these challenges. This is what a strong support system looks like. Regular connections with other leaders, a focus on solution-oriented discussions, sharing of best practices and lessons learned, and emotional support during tough times. But there is one more crucial element to this strategy: your own personal well-being. When we're feeling better physically and mentally, we are able to make better decisions for our own well-being, our team, and the organization. Now, well-being isn't just about exercise and sleep, although those are important, but it is about creating sustainable practices that keep you energized in the long haul. So listen, here's the truth about leadership that no one is going to admit or tell you. But as leaders, we don't always have it figured out, and that is okay. What matters is how you handle those struggles and what you learn from them. So what are we going to do moving forward? We are going to focus on what we can control, reconnect with our purpose, lead with authenticity, and build our support system. But most importantly, remember that your humanity isn't a weakness. It is your greatest strength as a leader. You see, when you embrace that, you create space for your team to be human as well, and that's where the real motivation begins. If you found this video helpful, check me out on the next video where I discuss leading during a crisis. And remember, the goal about leadership is not to be perfect, it is to be a real leader. I'll see you in the next video.